Coffee's not done yet, but we're almost there. What's up, everybody? We are live. Oh man, it's good morning. Check it out, you can do a selfie with one of these tankers. Selfie. Not really. Not really. Alright. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning. You have a class to teach? Well, teacher. Who's your teacher's pet? That's loud. We'll turn that down. Oh, I hope you guys saw my video this morning of day 16, which technically today is day 17, but you know, we're a day behind on the YouTubes, so, because I didn't start, I don't know. It gets confusing. That's what I hate. That's what I hate about doing series. And I knew that was going to be a challenge because when you go through the playlist, you see day 1, day 2, day 3, day 10, day 15. You know, it's like skipping around, right? Man, I wish this coffee would hurry up. Did notifications go out? Yep, there we are. Notifications go out. There's my echo. We'll talk about a couple of things. Number one, I'm gonna spread some rumors around, okay? Pale Rider TV hates me. He hates me because he is parked literally 8 miles from here and he didn't want to come and visit me. So I think he just hates me. He's sick of me. I think he's sick of me. He's like, I don't want to put up with the crap today, Steve. Oh, and Jeffrey Like is a liar. Jeffrey Like is a liar. I'm going to repeat that. Jeffrey Like is a liar. Don't trust him. He told everybody I shaved my beard. Obviously, that's not the case. It is still here. So don't believe anything that man says. Hey, my coffee is done. All right. Shout outs and we'll get this party started. You gotta be real careful when you pour the first cup because these coffee pots, if you pour too fast, they like to drizzle everywhere. Drizzle. Is that a word? Drizzle? Yeah, I guess that's a word. Cheers, people. I hope you're having a good morning. It is a beautiful morning here in good old Joplin, Missouri. All right, let's do some shout outs of all 11 of you in here. Let's see, we got Eddie Drotar, Chucky, Smooth Truckin', OTR David, GNC Family Trucking, I already said that. Great Freight Sage Logic, who's in here but a mere second. Thank you for your support. Jose, Twitch, yelling at the windshield. Good morning, people. I love your new name, by the way. Scott SRO Logistics. You interrupted me watching your update video. I know, I don't plan these things out very well. And that happened the last time I went live in the morning. But here's the deal. It took literally all night for that video to upload to YouTube. There's something about this spot here in Joplin, Missouri that YouTube and Verizon are like, we don't like each other. So, Big Houston, good morning. The Trashy Trucker Show, what's up? It's 0400 top of the morning. Yeah, you Western people. Tolga, what's up? It's kind of a, when you're trying to get a hold of a company out in California, when you need to get a hold of them out in California, when it's like 8 o'clock here, you can't do it because they're still closed. So that's kind of annoying. Morning, Scott. Leck litter. Always an excuse. Always. Look. That's how we live our lives, is with excuses, right? Excuses. We give ourselves excuses to promote our own bad behavior. I could sit there and say, I don't know, when it comes to finances or trucking business or diet, we all come up with excuses, right? We all come up with, I deserve this, or I justify this because of this, and the reality is what you did, and you just come up with excuses. That's all. But what do I know? Because, look, here's the thing. I appreciate that people want to listen to what I say. That boggles my mind. When you're in a band and you're playing live in front of people, you're kind of forcing your message. You're like, I mean, people are there to see the headliner band. They're not interested in the opener band, right? They're not interested in the opener band. So you're kind of like, hey, check it out. And you're trying to win them over. The YouTube is a little bit different. YouTube, it's not as forced. So, and I think that's why, people, I talk to people about how they have some great information. They should do videos, because there needs to be more, as Eric pointed out, there needs to be more positive stuff in the YouTube universe, because there's a lot of negativity. And you have people that go, well, I'm a behind the camera kind of person. That was actually said to me yesterday. And I think sometimes I take for granted the fact that this comes more naturally to me, because I was in a band. I used to yell my deepest, darkest thoughts in a microphone in front of a bunch of people that may or may not have cared. If you're here, you at least care about something that I say. Whether you hate me, love me, worship me, or are absolutely disgusted with me, you are here by choice, not because you're forced to stand in a room because your band isn't playing yet. So, there you go. But I do realize that it's tough. And look at Christian Trucker. Christian Trucker's got a great channel, right? He has never shown his face whatsoever. I think he might have done like a cartoon version, like one of those apps that like kind of makes everything like a negative. He might have done that for a second for an intro, but he's never shown his face. It's always been what's in front of him. And and he makes a good point. He's a very shy person. I didn't know what Christian Trucker looked like till I met up with him and Daniel Nottingham up in Mooresville, Indiana. Both very great people to hang out with. Cycling Trucker, good morning. Looking good, thank you. Hey Steve, stay in your lane. It's only 25 people. That's a size small classroom, just saying. It is. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. And we had 50 people in here the other day, so that was kind of surprising. the reality is you got to be comfortable in your own skin. You gotta have true confidence, like, and it's tough sometimes. It's tough. For entertainment purposes only. LOL, just kidding. I do like your deep dives. I'm a surface thinker. I know where you are, says Trucker's Table. Are you here? We're not worthy. We're not worthy. I know where you can find a positive video at 6:30 this morning. Trucker's Table, spamming himself out. Look at that. Blanket statements. That's the problem with this platform, you know, and we've seen it on Twitter. We've seen it with our favorite artists, our favorite actors, our favorite rock stars. They get a voice that goes beyond their art, and they start thinking highly of themselves. And so therefore, that's where you hear comments like, well, if so-and-so becomes president, I'm going to leave the country. And it cracks me up. I love that. It's like your arrogance is so high that you expect people to beg for you to stay, and like, oh, I better not vote for this person because Rosie O'Donnell's going to leave the country. It's just, and look, power. I mean, you think of that kind of power. Power, human emotion does not handle power well, and that's a tough skill. How many times have you guys watched some kind of concert and you have literally like tens of thousands of people singing along to the lyrics that this one guy is singing? You know, that's got to be exhilarating. You know, I've felt that on a very small level. To have literally thousands upon thousands, a sea of people do that to lyrics that you might have written on a napkin. That you're like, that's power, right? That's power. And so people don't know how to handle that power sometimes, and then they lose themselves. And that's where that term, you know, selling your soul comes from, is because you lose a part of yourself because you get addicted to that power. You know, the whole selling your soul to the devil to become famous, I think that's more of a symbolic thing, and that's where that comes from. And so live streaming on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, your everyday Joe, your everyday person can experience that now without having to learn how to play guitar or learn how to play the keyboard or know how to sing. And you know, if you think about it, we all want a monument of ourselves. We all want, like, to put something forth out to the world to monument our time here on Earth. You know, the 15 minutes of fame, as Andy Warhol called it. And it's addictive. And so you have people that go and do these live streams that will do insane things for the attention, for the exhilaration of that power, you know. And sometimes that power can be used for good, and sometimes that power can be used for bad. You know, you can do a negative campaign on somebody and literally destroy their business. You can literally destroy their YouTube channel. You can literally destroy their personal lives simply by making them famous in a negative way. And so it's a double-edged sword. I've been to 13 countries. If those people left this country, they would soon regret it. You know, Cycling Trucker, that the statement, I'm going to leave this country because blah, 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 is one of the most arrogant statements that a person can make, right? So when you look at other countries and the things that they deal with, now granted, our house is not in order. Granted, we have some issues going on right now. Granted, we're not perfect. However, I could still walk across this parking lot and not worry about being bombed, right? I could still walk across this parking lot and not worry if I'm going to have enough to eat today. And I still have the opportunity that if I don't have enough money to eat today, I can go out there and get the opportunity to make money to eat today. And you know, and there's this younger generation. There's this younger, like, I'm talking like 12 to 15-year-olds right now that it's some kind of weird trend. Like they embrace communism. You know, they're passing, you know, in school, they're passing around this communist book, and like they hate capitalism and they hate, you know, everything America's about. And that's a trend. That's an alarming trend that's being taught in our schools. In a very small, minuscule, let's put a little bit of sugar in everything kind of way. Okay? Now, what these youngsters don't realize, and, you know, at the risk of sounding old, I am old, I mean, look. They don't know what a true communist country is. They've never experienced it. Now, what's the problem with communism? It falls victim to power. People become addicted to power. People become addicted to control. And voila. So on the surface, it's a good sell. Oh man, everybody gets everything and everything's equal and, you know, we'll all share everything and oh, la la la, kumbaya, you know. Meanwhile, what it is, it's the government saying, we control your food, we control your homes, we control your belongings for us. That's what that is. And they don't realize that because they've never been outside of the United States of America. They don't see the poverty that you see in Mexico. They don't see the totalitarianism of some of these other countries where if you just look at somebody wrong, you could be arrested. You know, these countries that we get oil from, you know, they're like, you can literally be arrested if you're a married couple that kisses in public in some of these places. They have not experienced that. Big Rig CEO and Nothing Woody are both in the house. I'm going back to bed. Have an awesome day. TJ, hope all is well with you, sir. Let's see, Tolga says, peace out. Yes, Snorelord, I know you want me to start my YouTube back up. Well, you know, Charles, you and I had a really good discussion yesterday, and you have some messages that need to be put out there. Because you're doing what everybody makes these blanket statements. Oh, you can't make it on a Snyder Finance truck. Chucky goes, hold my coffee, I got it. Right? You can't get your own authority with an SFI truck. Chucky goes, I got it. You just sit down, little kid. I've got this. Right? And people that are getting their authority, because that is a hot topic. I mean, like trucking is, we've lost like 6 guys of them getting their own authority. And you have entire businesses like the Hauling Assets podcast that in OIDA that that literally help the small guy get their own authority and to manage it. And there's a bunch of tools, but there's also a bunch of predatory companies out there that will take advantage of that. Ask anybody who's gotten their recent authority and did not get a burner phone for their phone number on that authority. All these companies text you and call you. You know, nobody talks about that on YouTube. And, you know, and so that information is valuable. So somebody like Chucky, who's in the early stages of his company, that would be very valuable video information. Because people are curious. Because people need encouragement. People need encouragement that, you know, if they want to take their business to another level, they need that encouragement. And it's kind of like when I was looking at buying a truck. You know how many owner-operators I talked to that said, don't buy a truck. It's a huge hassle. It's not worth it, right? But I did it anyways. You know, so you can sit there and discourage people from getting their own authority all you want, but if they really want to do it, they're going to do it, you know? And so to have as much positive, good information out there would be swell, because there's a lot of bad, negative information out there of the thing, you know, and then there needs to be realistic information out there. You know, it's getting your own authority is not a walk in the park. There's a lot of stuff that Jeff does for us that I don't see, that he does behind the scenes, that makes, you know, that could be a very daunting task if you're on your own and you didn't realize it was going to be like that. But at the same time, if everybody had access to that good information and they utilized it, to me, that's a positive thing. Let's raise these rates to $7 a mile. Word on the street is we're going to go through a third wave. Thoughts? Third wave of what? Within minutes of applying, they'd be watching that list. Yep. Lee Lost Cause, what's up? I don't think I've seen you in a while. Rick, third wave of what? I'm not sure. You talk about third wave of the bid, or third wave of high rates, or what? Or a third wave of recession? I think all the above is probably possible. Man, it's good coffee. I bought this blend at Walmart. I don't remember. It's a hazelnut blend. It's really good. Oh no, Rick. There's a YouTube called Dr. Reality. Scott SRO turned me on to him, and he actually goes and gets the facts, right? And so when the mask mandates lifted, there was a lot of stuff there's a lot of information that shows that rates went down. And now Fauci is being kind of looked at a little bit. There's something, look, there's something weird about the whole deal. That's all I'm going to say. About everything, right? So, looks like your LLC should be official next week. Good deal. That is definitely, you know, and that those kind of questions come up a lot, you know, like in Truckers Coach channel, Jeffrey Likes channel, and James Best channel. A lot of people ask about LLCs and tax codes and whether you should, you know, LLC or not, and how you should LLC and all these different things, and there's just There's just so much, and you think that there's a lot of conflicting information, but what it is, it's dependent on your situation. I recommend, I don't care if you open a lemonade stand, you should open an LLC. It's simple. It's one piece of paper. You can do it online. Do it yourself. You don't have to hire LegalZoom or any of that crap. But if you have to, do it. You know, I'm not going to make the blanket statement. Well, if you can't do that, you're an idiot. No, I'm not. I'm not that guy, right? And the fun part is coming up with the name, because you know you come up with some cool name, you know, something Enterprises, or you know, whatever. And you have fun with it, you know. And like my wife informed me one day that she had a business entity once. She had a business license because she was going to get into editing for people that wrote books and stuff like that. And you know, it never amounted to anything. I think she did a couple of jobs, but you know, it's fun. I had a small business license when I was doing swap meet. I would go to all these yard sales, acquire all their junk that they didn't want, and then I would sell them at this big swap meet that used to be off I-44. And of course, you know, Prime bought that property and killed that idea, but yay Prime. But I enjoyed that. That's what I did on my off time when I was driving a school bus. But it was cool having my little business entity, you know. The publishing company was the same as the trucking company, Doomytunes, for the band, for the music. So Jeff doesn't hire company guys. Well, that's a random statement. Actually, we have a guy that has 2 trucks that he's looking for people to put in those trucks. So technically, that's kind of a company thing, right? I've got a refill. But that's the power of a public performance. This is a performance. Me talking to you, this is a performance, right? Well, gee, Steve, why are you calling it a performance? You must be a liar. You must be a showman. You must be blah, 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 blah. It's a performance. It could be a reality performance, but it's a performance nonetheless, right? Oh, he was answering a question? Okay. Oh, how many company drivers are like trucking? Marty, we have 2, I believe. But by company, there's an owner here with 3 trucks, and they're under those trucks. Touche, James Best. Touche. Wouldn't seem random if you would keep on my. You're one to talk, James Best. I've seen you like been 30 minutes behind on comments before. Yeah, it's not Jeff's company, I guess. Yeah. So it's kind of like Landstar. People are like, well, Landstar is all owner operators. Well, not technically, no. They're not Landstar company drivers, but they are drivers that aren't owner operators that are running trucks that agents own. That's why they have all the good freight. That's why that low board is nothing but scraps. Oh, did I say that out loud? Old fat white guy, what's up? Haggy, are you afraid of Commandant Man, I will not enter the political universe. I've been sent some videos that make you go, huh. And in this day and age of information, it can be overwhelming to the point that you just have to shut everything off sometimes, because it'll create anxiety within you. You know, look, one of the biggest, most destructive forces on this country, in this country, on this earth, is social media, because it can literally wipe out all your hope. If you are suicidal, it's gonna like go after that, and it's gonna make you, it's gonna kill your hope. I've lost many people. You know, in the old days, you know, people killed themselves because they lost a loved one, or, you know, their wife left them, or, you know, or something of that nature. Now it's like you can be literally overwhelmed with all the wrong, bad information and think that there's no hope. Once you lose hope, it's done. You're done. You're either going to kill yourself instantly, or you're going to kill yourself slowly. And social media is great about destroying that hope. And so I try to be the guy that raises some hope, because look, are there some bad things going on around in our world? Absolutely. Do you need to be aware of them? Absolutely. But at the same time, you can't let it bring you down. You can't let it destroy what you want to build for your future. You can't, you know, and I've been guilty of that. I have literally been distracted. You know, last year at this time, all my Facebook memories right now are of the riots that were going on, the protests that were going on. You know, videos of people beating up old ladies, and people with Trump hats getting shot simply for having a Trump hat. You know, and the George Floyd thing was in full swing. I mean, just and at that time, man, I didn't want to run. I stayed pretty close to home. You know, I ran the short stuff. You know, the rates were kind of crap, and you know, and it was just one thing after another. Once the rate started to go up a little bit, you know, that made it a little bit easier. But I mean, this time last year, we were all in a lot of some kind of fear or lack of hope, and you know, and it did a number on my mental health. You know, I told everybody when the bid first started that it was going to really test you emotionally, financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, you know. And there's a lot of people that think we're in a spiritual warfare right now. And I mean, there's a lot, you know, but you have to have hope. You have to have some kind of, you have to see the sunshine. I mean, when you can look at a scenery like this, you know, and a beautiful sunrise, you know, maybe that could be your glimmer of hope. You know, look at all these ugly trucks just sitting there idling, staring at me. Damn trucks. But you know, it's like anything else. And so sometimes you have to have a perception change. Sometimes you got to change the channel. Sometimes you got to turn the CB off. You know, and not take in that negativity. Did Steve just say turn the CB off? What? I think I forgot to turn off my coffee pot. I did. Sad time. Chassis truckers, I would almost believe that, to be honest with you. Thor and Thunder, what's up? 30 minutes is generous, yep. Let's see. If you want to succeed or fail, social media is here for you, right? Those trucks aren't staring at you, they're staring at the chicken. They are. Are you calling me a chicken? David Torres got your cup of coffee. I can't talk today. I like the sunrise more than the sunset. It's always refreshing, my hope. There you go. Pigtail, what's up? Last year I had a friend that took his own life. And when you look back at his Facebook post, you could see what he was dwelling on. And you know, he was a vet. He dealt with PTSD, and so you know it could be a lethal combination. You know, I never served. My dad served, but I never served. I've never been in battle. I've never had to fight for my life, so I don't know what that's like. And so to deal with that kind of PTSD would be, you know, I would imagine it would be very difficult. And social media can capitalize on that. Like they can make you think your world's upside down. It really can. And the destruction of hope is one of the most destructive forces for everyone, because you could be happy-go-lucky, you're not even aware of certain things, but somebody who's obsessed in something can just come along and take whatever you have or take your life, you know, and so it still affects you. My T-minus 5 days to Maldives. Cool. It's dreary here in Tennessee. Thor, tell you what, man, I've been in some drearier weather. This truck is so dirty, it's not even funny. Because every time I have a day that I can, like today would be a great day to wash the truck. Well, the problem is 90% of the trucking community is going to have the same thought that I have. And I have a tight schedule today. I have a straight through delivery that's going to pay very well. It's put me in an area that I just literally got out of, that I wasn't very happy that I was in, but we're going to make it work. I've had 2 loads that made up for the day loss that I had because of the holiday, which has been awesome. We can talk trucking stuff. We don't have to be so deep. So, I look for trends on the DAT board and everything else, and a lot of these rates are holding steady, and they're still waiting until the last minute. But I'm finding it a little bit harder to book at the last minute, though. Especially if there's a lot of deadhead. Like there was quite a few loads I could have done yesterday. Look, this is how it works in the short game, okay? Especially if you're booking at the last minute. When you look at a low board, it's literally crap. Ooh, call, no answer, don't know the information, won't tell you information, won't call you back, won't email you back. Okay, crap. Oh, I'm gonna call on this one. Yeah, $600 to go, 800 miles. Yeah, no, crap. And then you find that one. It's kind of like going through the bar. You know the big bin of DVDs at Walmart? It's kind of like that. You know, they're all $5. Oh, crap. But every now and then there's that one video that you're like, oh, sweet, right? Or CDs, you know? You guys still buy CDs? I still buy CDs. Now, am I combing Walmart for CDs? No. They don't deserve my business as far as music. But that's how you deal with those bins, right? And so there's a level of patience that you have to run like I do. And the problem I was running into yesterday was my clock was ticking, which found out later I didn't have to have that happen. but my clock was ticking, and everything was either 150-mile deadhead and 600 miles away with a good rate that delivered the next morning, so I couldn't do it. So you got to strategize your deadhead with that. You know, I don't mind deadhead, but time is your enemy on the deadhead, not necessarily the rate. And then all of a sudden this one load popped up. I signed the rate con, didn't even write down any information. I put the address in my GPS. Look, I knew what it was, so I knew where I was going, and then I took off. And it was a straight through delivery. And I've gained this talent of finding that stuff. It's kind of neat. It's kind of a neat superpower to have. But a lot of that's because I've literally been running this area for 10 years. Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas. I've been running this area. I know what the market can do, and I know when it's time to get out. You know, and that's when I'll go to Ohio, or I'll go to Florida, or I'll go to, you know, Minnesota or Wisconsin or whatever, and you know, and then come on back. You know, the spot market makes it real easy for me to go out and back. So technically I've had weeks where I like literally go from Missouri to Ohio, Ohio back to Missouri, Missouri back to Ohio, Ohio back to Missouri, and then call it a week and have, you know, a $6,000 to $8,000 week. And then other times I can literally have a $6,000 to $8,000 week literally running within a 300-mile radius, only because, you know, of how I strategize and what I look at, and I know the customers and everything else. That's how I make that work. Now, would my method work for somebody if you had a company driver and you're trying to pay him mileage? Absolutely not. But if you paid him a percentage, you know, that might be a different story. So. I'm gonna go cow tipping here in a bit. Got to shovel some stalls and stock barn for my cousin. A lot of crap. You got 2 CDs, Big Houston. That's funny. I found Blazing Saddles in that bin a few weeks ago. Yeah, there you go. I haven't bought a CD since Columbia House and didn't technically buy those either. Oh, James. That's why Columbia House went out of business, because of you. You bought the latest Korn CD? Walmart isn't necessarily evil. They have never deserved your business, and they've only gotten worse. True. I've lived not that far from Columbia House, near where houses and store. Okay, broken English there. Look, I'm a music collector, but you know, but the point is like that's how it's like search on load boards, because essentially when you're booking at the last minute, you're getting everybody's crap that no one else wanted. But you know, but you're hoping for that gem where someone fell off, or you know, like, oh, this is $650. I ain't messing my time with that. Well, it's like literally 60 miles. I'll do that, you know, and not think twice. What's a CD? That's so now here's the thing. A lot of people give me grief. And I have a pretty thick skin. A lot of people, you know, Jeff makes comments about, oh, look at Steve, he's going beyond his little range, you know. People make those comments all the time. And it's funny to me. It's funny when Jeff does it, because I'm actually making him money, right? And it's funny when other people do it, and they're like, oh man, I had a 650-mile day. I said, well, I had a 200-mile day, and I made just as much. So it's funny, and they got to have thick skin, which I do. It's you know, and that's the thing with this social media thing. You got to have thick skin if you're going to be a YouTuber, and you got to be willing to accept the fact that people are going to tell you that you're doing everything wrong because you're just doing it differently. And when it comes to the spot market, guys, versatility is key. If I had to go to Washington right now, I could. If I had to go to Maine right now, I could. And I might go visit Eric up there in Maine. He's got a big, huge house. There's no telling what's going on in that big, 15 room house that's going on there. But and I've been to all these places. I've been to Washington. I've been to Maine. I've been to Florida. And when times were tough, both with rates and with the violence that was going on in the country, my strategy worked. When rates were in the toilet, my strategy worked. And it's about versatility because I've dealt with recessions in the trucking industry. I've dealt with complete low board changes. I've dealt with volumes dropping tremendously. I've dealt with that. And that's the thing. If you come out to the spot market when everything's good, that's great. But until struggle, you can be spoiled, right? And I guess that goes with anything in life. And so it's easy to fall into the traps, of spending more money when you have more money. I watched it all the time when I worked for Tracker Marine. I worked for Tracker Marine, and they had gobs and gobs and gobs of overtime. Like I'm talking like people camping out in the shop, kind of overtime to get new models. Because I worked in research and development and get new models out. In Bass Pro, Johnny Morris is like, he's got the whip cracking, right? And these guys would get addicted to that money. And they, next thing you know, if we weren't on overtime, they were hurting. They were hurting because they budgeted their lives based off of that overtime. And knowing struggle is how you get stronger. And so the next time, how many of you can say that you've gone the floor for less than $2 a mile? Would you want to do that? Absolutely not. But there may come a time when that will happen. Because there's just nothing else to do. There's nothing else you can do because the volumes are so low. And you have no choice but to take what you can take. And I believe I'm going to be in that situation tomorrow morning. So, I'm not liking the rates of where I'm going coming out. So, Jeremy, good morning. What I don't understand is I had an agent that wanted me to take a load for $900 to Green Bay, Wisconsin from Edwardsville, Illinois, and that's before Landstar's cut. Well, Trucker for Life, what rate would you need for that? Let's talk about that. How many miles is that? Let's ask the Googles. How far is it from Green Bay, Wisconsin to Edwardsville, Illinois? That's 464 miles. So 900 divided by 464, because we're not counting Deadhead. That's $1.93 a mile times 0.65. That's $1.26 to you. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Were you telling him you were trying to get home? That could be a problem. It's possible that agent was getting it from another broker that was where it was paying because that's a $1,500 load for me, and no less than, even if it is taking me home if I lived in Green Bay. And so you're either dealing with an agent that doesn't know how to price things, or he's cutting the number so low to try to get that low, because the agents over there like to undercut each other, that he doesn't realize that no one's going to move it for that. Next thing you know, he hasn't moved the load, and when it comes to that kind of money, you know, do you deadhead? Do you just do that on your own or whatever? So. Motivation, versatility, perseverance, improvisation, etc., and make it as business owner. That is absolutely 100% true. I don't like where my next load is going to North Carolina, but the rate is going is great. And that's kind of what I'm dealing with, Thor. It was hazmat, 44,000 pounds. That's where you have to draw the line. That's where, you know, and that's where being in the spot market for me is better than when I was at Landstar, because you have that negotiating power, right? You have, like, look, you know, like I don't do hazmat anymore, but you know, if there's something with the tanker endorsement, guess what? I'm gonna capitalize on that. It's like, dude, I took the extra time to take that extra test to have that tanker endorsement. You know, I'm not just any Joe Schmo, so I get a bigger rate. Now the problem, okay, so here's the deal with that load there, Truck for Life. If that's your only choice, that's where you have to bite the bullet and either take it or don't take it. But if you have other choices, then that shouldn't even cross your mind. You just look at it like, look, coming out of Oklahoma, there is a ton of brick loads. And I'm going to call Eric on this. I'm going to call on in his live show and ask him why bricks are so cheap. They are literally fuel money. 48,000 pounds, 47,000 pounds, 46 in a van, and they want to pay $300 for 200 miles. I don't know how bricks are ever moved. I really don't. And I could see if I was in a spot where that's the only choice I had, then I'm like, I don't know. But if you do that load, you're going to be pissed about it, right? Where you have to struggle, where you have to realize that this market can turn, is when that is your only choice. When that $900 load out of St. Louis going to Green Bay is your only choice, that's where you have to really have your stuff down, mentally and financially. Now, when I go to the spot market and I look at what's coming out of St. Louis, there's literally 1,000 loads within a 150-mile radius. And that's why we try to attract the Landstar guys to come over here, because you can use the same platform, but you got more freedom, a higher percentage, and more choices. Because I guarantee you, all the primo stuff, all the great stuff is already gone and never hit that load board, both in the spot and at Landstar. So, and I think sometimes we have trouble letting go. Like, we have trouble letting go of the fact that, how dare someone post a load like that? You know, I remember talking to a friend of mine that said he was insulted with the rates that they were trying to ask for coming out of his home in Jersey. Like, that's the spot market out of Jersey. That's just what it is. They're not insulting you. They're moving a business. They're moving product at a price that obviously they've been moving it before. And so that's exactly what I'm talking about. You know, those are the times that you have to prepare for. Right now, the volumes are through the roof. Even if you go to Dallas, right? Even if you go to Texas, you're not going to get as good high rate, but there's literally 1,000 loads to choose. So you don't have to pick the hazmat 45,000 pound brick load. You know, you don't have to choose those. You know, if I'm going to take a hit, I'm going to do it with the light load that's easy to do at a customer that I know will be easy. And that's the beauty of having choice. That's the beauty of knowing, you know, and that comes with experience. Orion, they're all over Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma City have brick loads all day and every day. Turn the load down, too much other stuff to do. Right. Now, when it comes time, when you don't have those choices, that's the market that you have to learn how to thrive in. And that's exactly what I did during the middle of the vid, by running the short stuff that I do. I minimized the hit that my company was taking. And everybody was taking a hit. Everybody was taking a hit. Almost everybody. That's a blanket statement. Just did a thing about not doing that. And so it's survival of the fittest in any business. I've had one brick load pay well, and it was a Menards to Menards. Is what it was. We are a Menards proof carrier, by the way. Just putting that out there. Now the hazmat, when Landstar's choices became minimal, I embraced the hazmat. Fireworks and empty totes that still had that placards on. That was my MO. That was my niche. Firework loads present a lot of challenges because you're delivering these off the wall, middle of nowhere places, and they're hand unloaded, multiple stops. Made it work. I was used to doing that. That's how I learned as a company driver. And then the totes, it was hazmat, but it was light. I mean, the truck was practically empty. So my fuel mileage was up. I stayed in the flat areas, and I didn't, and I avoided toll roads with those. So while everybody else was turning on hazmat loads, I'm like, you know what? I'll do that hazmat load because there was nothing to it. I wasn't worried about spills. I wasn't worried about, securement as much as like if I'm hauling, 8 barrels that have to be secured and bolted down and all that, and then there could be a potential big spill. I mean, hazmat tote loads, empty tote loads were just phenomenally easy. The hardest part about that was the receiver, picking them up, because it was usually tight. You're usually avoiding you're literally pushing them aside like pallet places to try to swing into the door. My bad, I misread that. There are people trying to move cheap loads everywhere. Landstar bedroom agents are just trolling for a newbie. They do it all the time. You've been grabbing your shingles from Malarkey? I literally delivered across the street from there yesterday. There, Orion. The reality is brick loads are designed for carriers who have dedicated runs, who need a spot market load to go back. Because here's what a lot of people don't realize about the spot market, okay? Let's say I become my own carrier. Let's say I start Doomytunestransport trucking or whatever, and we're rolling, right? And I get a steady load out of Springfield that goes to Oklahoma City every day. I do one every day. That brick load would become very useful to get back to Springfield instead of deadheading empty. I've had friends that were on dedicated accounts, but then they were allowed to use spot market to come back, but it had to come back to a specific place to get to service the customer, the dedicated freight. A lot of pet food places, what they'll do is they have their own trucks. Like I talked to a guy, I think it was Diamond Pet Food maybe, that all he did was go from the plant to a DC like Walmart or grocery warehouse, and he was set up where they didn't have backhauls, so he just went home empty. However, some companies are set up to where they have to have a backhaul, so they'll go in the spot and that backhaul doesn't matter what it's paying. They just want something to go back with, and that's the design of the spot market. So if you're utilizing nothing but the spot market, you have to realize that there are rates that are going to be thrown out there that make you go, well, how has this ever moved? There you go. That's how it's moved. It's because the person that moves that is desperate. And so if I worked at, say, C.H. Robinson, and I had these loads of bricks, that's the carrier I would be seeking out. You know, are the ones that go, please, damn lie, that are looking for those kind of loads. You're early. And so it takes experience to learn that. It takes experience to figure out those kind of things. You could be a 15-year-old veteran truck driver, and the spot market could still chew up and spit you out, you know. But once, you know, look, the more level-headed you remain, because look, when you're looking at a low board full of crap, you're scrolling, nothing looks good. Man, that takes a toll on your head. It really does. And there were many times where I've literally had to put the phone down and say, you know what, I'm just going to blank out and look at Facebook for a second, because there's just crap after crap after crap. In other words, you get tired of looking through the bargain bin of CDs over at Walmart. Then you take a deep breath, and then you take a bunch of them CDs and you push them over to the side so you can get to the ones on the bottom, because as the more people sort, the more it goes to the bottom. The ones that you really want, the ones that you want, are harder to find. You gotta keep an eye on the time. I'm gonna go in my customer early, because I know this customer and they'll load me early so I can get where I need to go, because Oklahoma City's been kind of a bear here lately when it comes to traffic. May not even go through Oklahoma City. Might just say the hell with Oklahoma City. You know, that brick load that I scoffed at yesterday might be the one I grabbed Friday if I can't find anything else. But the volumes are good. More than likely, I'm working this weekend. There's a pew instructional thing that I might try to go to next weekend. So if I work this weekend, maybe I can hit that. Because I need all the instruction I can get. I need a lot of help. With that being said, we are at an hour. Guys, if you got no more comments, questions, or concerns, I appreciate make sure you check out my day 16 video. I go over on how to clean, or the tools needed to clean, you know, and the diet is going very well, knock on wood. It's I love it. I don't know what's going to happen at the end of 40 days. Do I miss some vegetables? Absolutely. But I also know I haven't had to throw any food away because vegetables didn't go bad, right? So take care of yourselves, because there's so many things out here that want to destroy your hope. They want to destroy your faith. They want to destroy your dreams. You got YouTube influencers that want to tell you that you can't do what you're doing, and you've got people on Facebook that say you're an idiot for doing what you're doing, and you've got people that will literally try to destroy every positive fabric of your lives. So you have to kind of be a warrior. You have to kind of tell those people to go screw themselves. you got to have some thick skin, and you got to be afraid, not be afraid to stand up to people, and you know, and don't let people take advantage of you. Watch for the predatory companies. There's a lot of predatory stuff going around. I got a interesting email from the SBA that I'm very suspicious of, because you know, people are always trying to scam. It's a tough world right now, but you know what? I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't be in any other country, except Norway. Norway looks kind of pretty, but no, I love America, right? And you know, but do we have some issues at our house? At the house, yeah. But you know, within due time and with a little bit of faith, with a little bit of hope, we can make it better. Peace.